that the first attendees are dialing in. Welcome, everyone. I would say before we get started in 1 or 2 more minutes, maybe everyone can also share where he or she is joining us from today. So yeah, we're very, very excited that you're joining the webinar about product development and the role of OKRs today. And I'm personally joining from Munich today, and the 2 other speakers, Aigerim and Frank, from Berlin. So feel free to use the chat function. I think you should be able to let us know where you're joining us from. I hope it works. At least let me check again. But yeah, I think, or can someone test if the chat works? If not, no worries. I saw someone requested to talk, but I think maybe it's not working. Anyway, welcome everyone. I can see that, yeah, many more of you have dialed in, and therefore I also would quickly say a couple of words about myself. My name is Teresa Fernandez. I am responsible for campaigns and events here at Workpath. And for those of you who don't know Workpath, so Workpath is an enterprise outcome management platform, and we help enterprises or businesses to define and achieve their most important goals through the help of OKRs. And today I'm super excited that one of our partners, neoverv, is joining us here, and that Aigerim and Frank will share some insights. And that being said, and looking at the time, I will hand over now to you, Aigerim, and
yes.
Enjoy the webinar, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Teresa, for the introduction. One question, you can see my screen, right, guys? Maybe
Yeah.
Frank, Teresa, you can make, okay. Then from my side, welcome, and thank you for joining our webinar today. Before we start, maybe a short introduction from myself and Frank. So I am Aigerim, I am Agile Academy lead and innovation strategist at neoverv. We are located here in Berlin. Originally, I am from computer science, and then after a couple of years of consulting experience working with different organizations, I decided to go and work with people, helping make organizations more digital, more technology driven. Yes, and this is our purpose.
And then I take over. I hope you all can hear me. So welcome also from Berlin. I'm Frank. I'm a managing director at neoverv. I have a background in management information systems, and I'm working since almost 15 years in technology and innovation consulting. Before we founded neoverv, I worked at Capgemini, Invent, the consultancy branch of Capgemini. So I'm very welcome. Let me quickly introduce, we have a question first. So sorry, Aigerim, please.
Yes,
please go ahead.
I would like to ask a couple of questions and then you can continue, Frank. So I already see some people here. Yes, here I see some answers. Please feel free to join us using your cell phone. You can just scan the code, or you can put this link. It's already in the chat. You can put it in your browser and then you can give some answers. I just wanted to have a feeling how is the knowledge about the OKRs. So at the moment I see that I would say it's evenly spread. So more less knowledge, and you are not working with OKRs already. And maybe already answer the second question. So here is the second question asking about how is your knowledge about the OKRs? So do you know anything about OKRs? Your organization is very professional with OKRs, you invented them, and maybe somewhere in between. Okay, and let's see how they change the graphics. Okay, I see here that we have more. That's interesting. Maybe kind of and no, but also some people already using with working with OKRs. It's very nice. Okay, and here I can see, yeah, I would say more or less people are did not invented OKRs, and we have more answers in this direction. So yeah, it's very interesting. Let me check again. Okay, so a lot of people and organizations today here already working with OKRs. Okay, and I would say we're in the middle, right? So basically a lot of people working with OKRs, a lot of people don't, and the knowledge is also, I would say, like 50%. Then feel free to conduct the survey, and I will say we continue. Frank?
Yes, I think we have everyone here. So certainly I'm very happy guys who have invented OKRs, so very mature when it comes to OKRs, and some people which are who are rather at the beginning with OKRs. No worries, we have prepared something for everybody, I hope. And I would say let's get started and see how you can use OKRs. So we will do a bit of OKR introduction, but we will specifically show how OKRs can help with regard to digital product innovation. Let me quickly introduce neoverv. We are technology and innovation consultants, and we basically share one conviction. That is, we think all companies, no matter in which industry you are, need to become tech and sustainability leaders. So we work with corporates, with hidden champions and startups and scale-ups across different industries. If we go to the next one.
Sorry.
What is it, what we do? So basically today we mainly want to introduce you our understanding of OKRs and how they can help not only in innovation, but also with your strategy and with your operations. That's basically the third pillar, part of our agile transformation offering. What we also do is digital product innovation. That's the second pillar. And we also do technology strategy work. And OKRs can help in both pillars, help innovation teams, but also can help you bring your strategy to execution. That's the power of OKRs, and we're going to share some of those insights today. If you want to go further and understand our unique approach to OKRs, feel free to download our OKR playbook. That's quite a comprehensive study showing our OKR approach. And as I said, we will also specifically address today how OKRs can be used in digital product innovation. If you want to learn more about our digital product innovation approach, feel free to look into those studies. We are working with partners in general, and specifically today, we work with our partner Workpath because we simply believe tooling is very important to get tangible results, and this specifically applies for OKRs. So if you want to use OKRs, it's usually also the right point in time to think about some tool support, but we'll get back to this point later. And last thing I would like to mention, today we will share some experience from OKR introduction in different industries. There's not one fits all approach. There's different approaches possible to introduce OKRs, a pilot approach with one team or a few teams, or a comprehensive approach where you roll out OKRs in all teams more or less at once. Both approaches are possible, and we have prepared today 3 examples of clients where we have introduced OKRs, just to give you also a bit of practical insights how OKR introduction can happen. So let me share our agenda for today. And the first step, we would like to answer the question, what makes a good digital product? Why? Because that's basically the target we want to support with our OKRs. So we want to create good digital products, and we first should have a common understanding, what does it mean to create a good digital product? Then Igor will give a short introduction to OKRs, especially for those of you which are quite new to the OKR topic, and outline how OKRs are formulated and can help to achieve better digital products. We have, as I promised earlier, we have prepared 3 practical OKR examples from clients where we used OKRs for innovation and also for strategy purposes. And finally, we have prepared a quiz. So attention, please listen carefully. No worry, nothing bad will happen. But we have prepared a bit of quiz just to give you some opportunity to practice your new OKR knowledge, and maybe it's also a nice repetition of what we discussed today. No worries, we don't tell your boss, we don't tell your mommy. It's just between us, and maybe you have some fun to answer.
Maybe just one additional comment. If you're already in the AHA slides, don't leave them, because I was seeing some people leaving and coming back, so don't leave it. I will share the QR code later when we have the quiz, and you have the quiz, you have the link already here, but you don't need it actively now, you will need it in 20 minutes. So just stay in the AHA slides. Okay, sorry, Frank, you can continue.
Yes. So let us start with answering the question, what makes a good digital product? So throughout doing several innovation products in the past years, basically we came to the conclusion, if you want to create a good digital product, you have to focus on 4 dimensions. First one is the user dimension. So you need to design the product in a user-centric way in order to make users love your product, and the product needs to invite the users to use the product continuously. That's the first dimension. Second dimension is you also need to find a market. It's okay, it's very good to have a nice product, but someone needs to fill, satisfy a certain need of users, and users need to be willing to pay for your product at some point in time. That's the second dimension. The third dimension is technology. You need to have a technology basis for your product, which allows you not only in the beginning, but throughout the years to continuously develop new features quickly and securely. And the last dimension is operations. Having satisfied all other 3 dimensions, you have to do it in a very efficient way. First, during development of your product, and then secondly, when you scale your product. All 4 dimensions are important for a digital product, and that's basically the overall target you want to achieve. And let me quickly illustrate 1 or 2 examples which highlight why it's important to satisfy all of them. You maybe remember the Google Glass, this augmented reality glasses from Google, but they didn't overcome high user skepticism in terms of security and privacy concerns. And at some point it failed, and they stopped the development. With regard to the market perspective, I guess some of you remember the Amazon Fire phone came in quite late, 2013, 2014, and it didn't have any unique USP compared to established players like iPhone or Samsung. So they weren't successful to establish a market niche and to build up the market. When it came to technology, I guess some of you remember N26, which for quite some time, I hope they have resolved it by now, had quite some issues in terms of security and scalability of their technology architecture. And at some point they had to stop, even or at least had to limit number of users they allowed to use the product, which of course is dangerous for your product development. And finally, there's Coupe, those electric scooters, but they weren't able to manage rising operational cost, and therefore at some point had to leave market, or basically they were acquired by another competitor. So that's of course just some illustrative examples, but if you want to develop a good digital product, you need to have an eye on all those 4 dimensions. That's basically your target. And today we will show how OKRs can help basically to build all 4 dimensions and to set targets and results which relate to those 4 dimensions. And if you now create a new digital product, the process in a very simplified way, and I assume most of you guys know this graphic, is it's a hockey stick. So basically, if you, in a very simplified way, when you create a new digital product, you will go through 3 phases, hopefully, when you make it until the end. So you start with development. You try as fast as possible, but of course, considering user and market and already building up a good scalable platform, you try to develop your product. Then you launch it at some point. Once you launch it, the task is to actually gain users to use your product. And of course, you continue developing new features in order to attract even more users. And hopefully at some point, you will have this turning point where real user growth pops in. And then you may pursue different targets. You want to look for paying users. You want to improve profitability. You still want to keep your product scalable and secure. So that's basically, in a nutshell, the process of developing digital products. What I want to say, and maybe we can go to the next slide. In each step, you pursue different targets. And for those of you who have worked in innovation projects, know it's not only different targets, they are changing all the time. So basically, as a product team, you need to be very flexible. You need to have a means to reflect on your targets, on your progress of your targets every day, or at least every week. And you need to be flexible enough to change your target. So for example, during development phase, you want to ensure that you have talked to a couple or a sufficient number of users in order to achieve user centricity. You want to make sure that all your priority features, which are part of your MVP or MMP, are developed in time. You want to achieve that the MVP is released at the date that you have in mind. During startup phase, you rather focus on number of users, engaging those users, so making them to converting them to active users, and you want to continue creating new features. And during growth phase, you may want to look into now the number of paid users. How are you doing with platform scalability? What about profitability? So that's just a few examples and results which you want to pursue. But most important is you need flexibility and you need means to reflect with the team on those targets on a regular basis. And that's basically the value proposition for OKRs. When we are creating digital products and set up digital product teams, then we are introducing OKRs in most of those teams, or at least we recommend to do so. And fortunately, around 90% of the product teams follow our advice. And that gives those product teams an advantage. You are better in achieving your results and you are more flexible in adjusting to change. And that's a benefit of OKRs for digital product development. And if we now continue, then my colleague Igrim will explain how you can make use of OKRs and how they can help you within your digital product innovation endeavor.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Then let's have a look on OKRs. So basically, when we talk about OKRs upfront, we want to clarify that OKRs is not something that will heal everything, right? Your startup or your product will not be 100% successful, or your service if you work with OKRs. You need more things to be an agile organization, to be an agile team. OKR is one of the methods which is really helpful to organize the strategic level agile, but at the same time, in a bigger organizations, you might need something like agile flexible portfolio management. So old concepts, when you have like portfolio adjustments and new budget every 3 or every 2 years, don't work in this very fast developing world. You need something agile to make sure that you can finance your projects, your programs. This is on the strategic level. On the team level, we think that, or our experience shows that it is very important that there are no organizational silos, and teams work towards the client. So they work in the cross-functional, agile, customer-centric teams. On the other side, we really believe if you want to develop an digital product, you need agile methods, something like Scrum if you are a small team, or if you are like a combination of very different teams, then you might need SAFe or something different, scaled agile frameworks. On the other side, you need to make sure as an agile organization or agile team that your processes fit people and culture and not like disturb the process. And what we also have learned in our experience working with startups and ventures and digital units, you cannot say that you will do everything by yourself. You need partners, you need digital partners, you need tool partners, you need technology partners, and you need to make sure that your partner ecosystem is also agile. On the technical level, I will not make a deep dive. Basically, what we want to say is we need to make sure that everything which is recurring and repeatable needs to be automated and smart automated. You need scalable platforms. As Frank said in the technology section with N26, it needs to be scalable, it needs to be flexible, and you need service API-based architecture. But today we want to focus on OKRs because this is one of the first steps we suggest to start with. When you say, okay, we want to be agile, we want to develop, focus, prioritize digital products, then I would say this is a very good place to start. And Scrum, working agile on the operations level is also very helpful. Then I'll continue, and here we have an idea why OKRs, basically what is important and why they're like different than other management theories. So basically OKRs have the unique selling point saying, okay, you define OKRs not based on your needs, but based on the need of your customers. So you need to create a value add for the customer in every OKR. It can be an external customer, a user of your app, of your tool, or it can also be an internal customer, maybe other departments in your organizations. Which is also very important that OKR, when you define OKRs, you derive them from the vision and you translate them also in the daily work. So basically you are trying, or OKRs will help you to close the link between the strategy, between the vision and the daily implementation of the digital products. If you know the agile thinking, then you know that all agile frameworks are iterative. So basically you work in cycles, and it's not different here. With OKRs, you're working in the longer cycles, but still in them, and it allows you the flexibility. So basically you have always time to reflect and adapt your behavior, your to-dos, your initiatives, your budgeting. And maybe one thing which I like the most is motivating employees, because we say that in OKRs, it is not like the boss comes, says what needs to be done, and the people conduct it. We in the agile world, in OKRs, we rely on the expertise of people, and that's why people go and they take the input from the upper levels, but they define their OKRs for themselves because they will conduct them, they will execute it. So basically they have more impact and they have more visibility. They are motivated because they are not only executing, but they have this impact. And the final step is regarding the tool. You can do OKRs on paper, it works, or in mind, it will also work, but we suggest in the digital world, make it digital. So use a tool which will help you to set OKRs, to track OKRs, to assign OKRs. It will allow you to see the progress, and you will be able to make data-driven decisions. And yeah, I cannot hear Frank.
Sorry, there was one question from Francisco, just real quick. He was asking, because you were mentioning agile budget management, how often it has to be conducted compared to yearly budgeting. If you like, I can give a quick answer, but it's a different topic. So basically, ideally more frequently than yearly budgeting. But Francisco's the idea of agile budgeting is in a similar way as OKRs, to give a bit more authority to the lower levels. So usually when you introduce agile budgeting, then you do not conduct a very precise planning exercise, but you just define the overall buckets for the different departments, and then you give more budget authority to the lower levels, so that they don't have to apply for each expense with regard to the existing budgets, and the existing budgets are not too over planned, but planning and also using those budget goes to the lower levels. That's just the short answer. So it's not only frequency, but it's also how you change authority for budgeting in an agile world.
Then I will go back here. Frank, if you have any questions, then just please, if you see that there are any questions from the participants, then just let me know. It's around. I'll go back to the OKRs. So basically, here, what we can see, OKRs is nothing new. It was invented for 23 years ago-ish in the Silicon Valley, at Dell, at Google, and it started evolving. So basically, now, today, in this year, we as the company also helping organizations to work with OKRs, see that it's not only the digital leaders and champions, but also a lot of, I would say, organizations which we will say, okay, they're enterprises here in Germany. So basically ING, Helaba, Munich Re, Idealo, big organizations are also working with OKRs. But it's also important to mention, you don't need to restructure your entire organization, right? If Siemens does OKR in one team, it's also good, but you cannot say that Siemens does not work with OKRs if the entire organization is not managed by OKRs. You can make a hybrid and profit from it in different departments and find a way how to collaborate with the more traditional methods. Yes, so how exactly OKR cycle looks? As I already said, OKRs are not defined in vacuum. You don't pick your OKR, so basically there's organizational vision or product vision, you take it, and this is something which is more long-term. Then based on it, it's very important to drill down the scope and identify the priorities for the next 12 months-ish, saying, okay, this is something we want to achieve, this is our next big step. And from this, you define your OKRs. So basically you say, okay, for the next 3 or 4 months, me and my team, we looked up and now we're looking at what we do and we say, okay, this is our contribution. This is our OKRs, we define them. This is our objectives and key results. Then we save them, we define them, it's in our tool. And then once a week or 1 in 2 weeks, we come together and have a look at our OKRs and see, okay, are we on the track? Did we get lost? If we did, what do we have to do to achieve our targets? Because this is something what by the end of the cycle, we want to have a look at and see, okay, did we achieve it or did we not? And also in the retrospective, we want to reflect. It's something you maybe already know from all agile methods. There is a moment to reflect how the collaboration and the process works. So basically this is, I would say, a longer agile cycle. And yeah, so basically, if you need to think about OKRs and need to visualization, this is the only picture I would recommend to keep in mind. And then here's some visualization. So you have it, I think you cannot read it here, but because it's AHA slides icons, but basically in the OKRs, we came from strategic to the very, very operational level. So as I already said, you have your vision, which is your purpose you want to fulfill as a company, as a product. And on the second level, you have your priorities. So basically saying, this is what we want to achieve next year, higher priority topics. It's very important to really prioritize. If everything has a priority, then nothing has a priority. You need to really pick 2, 3, 4 priorities for your organization, which you will focus. And this will be the input, the best input to define your OKRs in the different departments, in the different teams. And then you define your objectives and key results. 2 things very important to memorize is objectives are qualitative. So they say what added value you create to your clients with this product. And on the other side, with the key results, you say, how do I know that I created this value? Is something to measure it, that I really achieved this target? And here where metrics and milestones come and you say, okay, I have a metric that I have to hit this KPI, or I have a milestone that it needs to change by a certain date. So basically you have something measurable. So results help you to measure. So they are quantitative. So it's qualitative objectives and quantitative key results. And based on this, you can go to your operational work and take this aspiration of OKRs and define your concrete to-dos. So not your hourly to-dos, but basically your user stories in the technical world. So saying, okay, what needs to be done, to what measures, what initiatives need to be conducted to ensure that step by step we achieve our OKRs.
That's maybe I can step in. That's important. So OKRs is not only objectives and key results, but it's also important to have put it into a certain context from a strategic level, but also from an operational level in order to bring them to life. That's most important. And this fits to a question which again Francisco was asking: is it recommended to have the objectives linked to organizational priorities? It's not mandatory, so you can go ahead with OKRs without having any priorities. But when we introduce OKRs, we usually, and we will get to it later on, we usually do a preparation session with the sponsors of the OKR exercise or the top management in order to clarify what is important, because this question will come up. The only question is whether you have a bit of clarity about your priorities or not. Otherwise, you have to develop this clarity while you are developing your objective and key results. So it's not mandatory, but it's I would say it's recommended from our side and from our experience.
Yes, absolutely. I can only support it. And here you can see it based on an example. Here is an example of our client who has they're like a retail store. And they said that their overall objective, overall vision and mission, they want to be the most customer-friendly shop in Germany. And they say, okay, you want to have the lowest prices, best products, and best customer experience, blah, blah, blah. And their specific target, specific priority for this year was they want to launch an e-commerce platform. And it needs to go live, and it needs so this was kind of their multiple priorities, but this is one I want to build on. And based on this priority, they derived their objectives and key results. They said, okay, to make sure that this platform is live and is stable and is used by our clients, we need to make sure that platform is really live and can be used by our customers. So this is an objective. The customers can use our platform and it is stably on the market. From the other side, they came and asked, okay, how do we know that the platform is live and fully utilized? Yeah, then the platform needs to keep the go live date, which is October 1st. Then products need to be available on the platform. So people need to be able to pick them, to put them in a cart and buy them. And certain amount of customers, 1,000, needs to be on the platform. So they need to go to the platform, they need to be attracted to the platform and register. And based on this, there were different teams. And for instance, there was a marketing team who said, okay, to make sure that the customers know about the platform, we need to plan, we need to execute campaigns towards our customers. And from the technical side, the team said, okay, we need to migrate our products on the platform. So we need to put the description, we need to connect them with the systems, so we know how much product we have in storage. So basically, there are different initiatives for different small teams derived from the same OKR. This is just an example, but you can see clearly the path, how from here, you as an employee see how you contribute to through the objectives and key results to the overall mission and the yearly priority. Here I have two more examples. So basically, it's very important when you have a product which is on the market to increase or make sure that your user engagement is consistent and users are using your product. And the question is, how can you measure it? So basically, user engagement is something you always need to keep up. It always needs to be good. Yeah, you need to increase it, you need to work on it, and it's never any story. But what is the next step from where you're standing to improve it? And here, for instance, the one key result was daily active users increased from this number to this number. You have 5 new integration features with other software parties, and real-time daily updates through notifications features increased from 5 to 10. So you defined different kind of key results, which together will contribute to the same key results. On the other side, when you define a digital product or service, it's very important to make sure that it has high quality, that you have processes that ensure the high quality and make sure that that only high quality products push to production. So you cannot just skip it and then identify some bugs. You can, but it's not so good for your customers and users. And then what would be the key results here? Yeah, for instance, you need to make sure that your unit test coverage is better, so it's increased. It's also important to define KRs from where you're standing. You need to know where you are and then define the next small step. For instance, 100% of QA% in standardized and before the release. And we have bugs, we have decreased the number of bugs in the production from 3 to 1. It's just an example, but in this case, there was also one KR which is not here. In the first step, quality assurance process needs to be created. It can also be a key result saying define the process and communicate the process. So coming back to quantity part of key results, it can be percentage, it can be some numbers, but it also can be binary. So achieve this, do this, and then you can have a look and very honestly say, did we achieve it or did we not achieve it? And one of the last theoretical parts for today is the integration with Scrum. Why it is important? Because we truly believe that when you develop a digital product, a digital service, or you are in an innovation unit doing something new, something innovative, you mostly work with Scrum because it helps you to be on the operational level, very agile, very flexible. So first I will give you a run through. So basically you have a product backlog with all the to-dos you need to, or all the user stories and features you need to implement. Then you have a meeting when you pick some of them for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Then in a daily business, you work on them, you create your increment. It's a marketing campaign, or it's a product feature or software user story. It can be anything else. And then you have a meeting to review the results of the sprint and moment to reflect in the retrospective with your team. And we also get asked how to combine them. And we think this is almost mandatory if you start working with OKRs to combine them with Scrum, because it will help you to get an overall perspective. So I think the danger here is to get lost in what you have in your sprint and just be in your operational level. And when you have OKRs, you will have the opportunity to reflect on more strategic level and integrate the strategic targets in the daily work as well. So basically how it works, our suggestion, and we also do it the same way, our sprint planning meeting is extended to 20 minutes in the beginning. So basically in this 20 minutes, we conduct our weekly check-in. So basically we open our tool, we have a look on OKRs as a team, we update them, we are all updated what we wanted to achieve on the upper level, and then we go in our sprint backlog. So in this way, we make sure that strategic tasks don't get lost, and we kind of integrate them, or sometimes even adjust our sprint backlog and make sure that OKRs are also are worked on and not somewhere in a tool and we don't work on them.
That's maybe I can answer a quick question here from Joshua, because it's going the same direction. So the question is it good or not good to use initiatives? Because we were showing initiatives basically as a last step of the OKR process. To answer it must not be necessary initiatives, but you should translate your objectives and key results in tangible actions, tasks, user stories, projects, initiatives, however you want to call it. We just call it initiatives here, but can be everything. And Igor, if you go back to those 2 cycles, please. That's basically the message here. So please don't stop with just reviewing your key results on a weekly basis, but ideally combine it with your existing meetings where you already discuss what is important for me as a team for the next week. Must not be Scrum, can also be just task in a planner or task wherever you do your task management. But OKR is even more powerful if you combine it with action. Action is initiatives. So to answer the question, yes, you should use something related to initiatives, be it task or user stories or something similar.
Even more pragmatic as a team, I think everyone has something kind of your fix. If you're not in sprint or scrum, then prolong it, make it a little bit extended, 15 minutes in the beginning. I would suggest to start with them. So as an inspiration every Monday or something, and then go into your daily tasks. So basically it will make sure that you are kind of on track. And for instance, we do it once in 2 weeks. I think some teams do it. One example, we will show it, they do it like one in sprint planning, so every 3 weeks, but it helps to reflect and think, okay, we got lost, we need to think about this task.
Cool. Very good questions. Thank you, guys. We start with some practical examples. There's just one question from Milo. I hope I pronounced it right. That's how you integrate it with SAFe, so scaled, agile. Just short answer, you can do OKRs on different levels. So every team, so SAFe team can do its own OKRs if they want. They don't have to. They still can work in an agile way. But you can also have more higher level OKRs. So if you think of OKRs for an entire organization, they basically form a tree, starting with very high level objectives of the organization, then a bit lower level, and then the operational OKRs. And so basically in a safe manner, you can also define OKRs which go beyond teams and basically integrate the work of different teams. That's nicely combinable with SAFe.
Okay, then I will go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm. We have just for time management, we have 18 minutes left.
Okay,
maybe
then I'll
keep some time for questions.
Yes, exactly. So only 2 minutes for this example. This is a fintech organization. They're like 100 to 150 people. They said from the management, from the executive level, we want to work with OKRs because they have two kinds of business. One business is normal insurance, and the other business is building a digital platform which digitizes the process of making with insurances for different parties. So a platform business. And the way they said, okay, they had an organizational strategy, but there was no strategic priorities for 2022 in this case. So we had a meetings with them. It was a preparation phase where we together defined from the vision what is important for this year. And based on that, we defined an OKR rollout plan, identified tool based on their requirements they will work in. And then we conducted trainings in OKRs and some also in Scrum. In these meetings, trainings, we did not only provide the theory because it's very short. Basically, what we do is we help to define the OKRs and to align them between different teams. So basically, very pragmatic planning, I would say, the first OKR planning, and then they implemented it in the tool of their choice. And very important success factor was that the teams are not alone after they define the OKRs, because after the training, everyone's like, cool, although we have a new method, it works for us, but then it clashes with the daily work. And then the motivation is like really at the bottom. And what they really needed was a coaching, making sure that they get the answers to their questions. The certainty level is not so high. So basically they were coached, and we also tracked how they're using a tool for the OKRs training, that they do the check-ins in the tool. And then it worked well. By the end of the day, they conducted a kind of train-the-trainer approach. So the internal trainers would be able to support the further rollout of OKRs. So basically, there's an example how you can start in a, I would say, synchronized way. But here, very important was that the management, the executive level was 100% into OKRs. Without it, it wouldn't work for the entire organization. Another example, question, can you hear my background noises?
Oh, it's
No,
good.
okay, cool. Some constructions work here. Yeah, so basically there's a bank, they have one digital product, they make the payments, so basically digital payment platform. And what they realized after some time that the customer is not satisfied, they have poor software quality, which does not mean that they have bad developers. The process, the communication was not right. They had a lack of personal contribution and motivation on the developer side, and a product team like brings the product, the payment system to the customer, said, we don't know what you do, we don't have any transparency in the development work. So after an assessment, they decided to do an agile and OKR in the combination. First, it was agile because it creates more benefits, very visual, very visible if you work in a development team, in the software development. It's then it provided the fruits they were aiming for, and then in the next step, they work with OKRs to make sure that they fit in the overall strategy, agile strategy execution. Among this, we introduced the role of product owner on the business side. It was implicitly there, we made it explicit, an agile coach of the team lead, and help to use Jira in the right way. It was already there, but not sophisticatedly used. And on the other side, they choose the Jira OKR plugin because they are very, very in the OKR, in the Jira world. And I would say from the regulation side, they cannot use different tools. They need to stick with the tools they already have. And what we could see that the agile competence increased already in the first agile cycle. They improved the agreed how they meet the agreed release dates. The higher customer satisfaction was also noticed, and people get motivated because they can see their contribution in the overall strategy.
All right, one last example. I keep it short so that we still have some time for the quiz. This was one construction company, and here we advised the digital IT team or organization. And this is also a nice example of a pilot approach. Here we started with a leadership team. So in a similar manner as most IT organizations these days, they face a lot of stress and pressure in terms of supporting digital initiatives and delivering and getting handled to all those requirements which are posed to them. And so basically here we introduced OKRs first for the leadership team, and using a tool, but also translating those OKRs in actions in terms of using Microsoft Teams and a planner exercise. So to answer the question, once again, it's quite important to translate OKRs into action, and it helped a lot to make tasks more tangible, but also to ensure alignment of executives, which previously have rather worked in a standalone fashion. So to identify what is really important and also what is not important. Where did I waste my time on, which is actually not required by my colleagues or even by the CIO? That's most important. So it helped a lot to create this interdisciplinary alignment and to make all the efforts more tangible and more focused. That's outcome. And right now we are supporting this client to roll out the OKRs to the different teams, starting with the digital solution teams. So it's not over yet.
Okay, I see some.
Then we're all excited regarding the quiz, okay. And we have to watch the time a bit.
Yes, we have 8 questions, so I think we need like 5 minutes for them. Then we will still have some time for open questions. Now what I want to ask you is to scan the code if you want to participate. You don't have to, but I'll say, okay, let's wait like 30 seconds. So who wants to join gets the chance to join. You can also, I think in the chat or in the QA, I'm not sure, there is also the link. But I personally think it's very easy to scan it, and you can like play with it. It's you don't have to open another browser. Okay, then 10 seconds. I'll wait. Okay, 5 seconds. I see new participants. You can also give me some thumbs up or hearts, smiles. Also very interactive. Thank you so much. I like it. Okay, then the QR code is here. And we start the quiz. And the first question. One second, it will. Okay, the first question. For which purpose can you use OKRs? You have 10 seconds to answer. Oh, right, absolutely right. So for every purpose, it's not for product development only. You can use it in each organization. It can be tech organization. It can be anything. You really for everything. The second question. OKRs are mainly used by management for control purposes. Is it right or wrong? Okay, 5 seconds. To the answer. 3, 2, 1. Correct, absolutely. Not for control purposes. And I think it's very important to communicate when you start with OKRs to increase the acceptance and not to resistance. The third question. How long does a typical OKR cycle take? Correct. Yes, it is 3 to 4 months. I know that some literature goes in the direction of 6. It's also fine. So 3 to 6. But I think when you start and you want to learn, I suggest like 3, 4 months because it's a good time to learn, a good time to reflect and to stay flexible. Next question. OKR should be used to assess employees and measure their individual performance. I think the answer is, I hope it's obvious. And yes, it is not. And we often get asked about what do we think about using OKRs for performance management. We don't suggest to do it. We suggest to use it on the team level because the idea is to focus resources behind the important targets, right? To get these targets done, to achieve them. And if it goes on the personal level, it goes in the individual performance level. And I think it creates not the good situation because you want to show this tool needs to be available for everyone in the organization, right? Everyone can see the status, see the progress. And if you're providing everyone the individual performance and of everyone, it is kind of, not so nice, I would say. Then question number 5, which ritual is not a part of OKR cycle? Weekly check-in, daily stand-up, retrospective, or review? Okay, almost done. And I hope you get it right. It's daily stand-up. We don't recommend it doing daily. They don't change so often. Then do it weekly or once in 2 weeks, but daily it's overkill, not necessary. But in Scrum, on the operational level, it's necessary. Then we are almost done. Who does normally start the OKR cycle and how? Okay, the seconds. Yes, it is right. It's a leadership starts announcement, and then people, it's synchronized. And then the final questions. An objective should be objective. I think we don't need 90 seconds, but I cannot change it. Okay, let's wait a couple of seconds. I hope you get it right. Yes, it is objectives is quality, not measurable, and key results is measurable. And the final questions. For whom should OKRs be visible? But I think I already gave the answer. Final seconds. Very good, yes. It should be visible for people who are involved in the system. Okay, then we are done with the quiz. Frank, you want to continue?
Yeah, let me wrap up. So thanks a lot and congratulations to all of you. You have officially achieved the neoverv OKR certificate. So I understand you all quite professional and advanced with OKRs right now. And now it's the right time to make the next step. So let us conclude how could you get started with OKRs. We have made quite very good experience with this OKR introduction approach. We would recommend, no matter whether you do it with a pilot team or with in a more comprehensive manner with several teams, you first should do a preparation to clarify what is the overall priorities of your organizations, what is also the team setup, team context, what kind of tools are already used. Is there a need for an OKR tool? That's a preparation. Then we recommend to do OKR workshops, and that's most important. We recommend to do it team by team. So don't do a big training in OKR. That's usually just makes, of course, people smarter with regard to OKRs, but the actual OKRs are happening in teams. So we recommend doing OKRs team by team and combining, as Igram already showed with those examples, combine it with some theory, but especially we recommend to do a first OKR planning. And the benefit is you directly have tangible results first day and can start the first day after the OKR workshop with your OKR cycle. Then provide some OKR support in terms of coaching. There's questions, there's typical mistakes that are be done. That's not a problem, but there should be someone who's supporting the exercise. And once you are done with the first teams, you can continue the rollout. If you look at a larger organization, it might be also helpful to train OKR coaches, internal coaches, which supports a further OKR rollout. But once you are done with the first teams, then you already have some kind of cookbook and experience and a very good case for OKR introduction. That's in a nutshell how you can do it. That also ends what we have prepared for today. I'm sorry, but we still managed to keep the time box on my watch. At least it's 11:59. Thank you so much for all the good questions. If there's any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We will send around. I guess Teresa, we will send around the handout, and please feel free to reach out to us. We are very happy to continue the discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Also, from my side, thanks again everyone for joining. Also, especially to you, Igram and Frank, for sharing the insights. And as said, you are going to receive the recording and also the slides afterwards. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. And we wish you an amazing rest of the day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.